Welcome to yet another episode of Let's Drone Out. This fine Thursday that's been blistery. We're joined this week by NJ Tech.
Hello,
NJ. How you doing?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm very good. Well, I'm good considering the weather.
Yeah, exactly. No flying weather. And we've also got Jack. Welcome back, Jack.
Hello. Still haven't had my week off yet. This is going really well.
you know what? I've always said that in the winter months, you don't really want to take time off anyway because the weather's rubbish. You may as well go out and fly in the better weather. So, to be honest, if you want your Thursdays off in the future, we'll arrange that.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah, they do take their time, don't they? But it's good to have you all listening in again because we do this for you guys in the community, the love of it. So, yeah.
Right.
So, Jack. Yeah.
I've got an apology to my good friend Tony. I'm really sorry. He's a bit sensitive because he was really ill, and I ripped on him when he was ill and fragile, and he wasn't here to defend himself. And I would just like to admit that I'm a bad friend, and although I am a knob to Tony at the best of times. And he's my emotional punching bag as my second wife.
Yeah, well, I thought that's not what love's about.
Yeah, totally. I'm a bad spouse. I feel really bad, and I just like to remind everyone that if anyone, Tony has the most dirt against me. He's got videos of me picking my nose, scratching myself. He's also got those holiday photos of when I made out with that lady boy. I insist I did that on purpose. I fully
just for him to get the photos. Yeah.
You gotta tell these stories.
Maybe we can have you both back on next week if he's feeling better, because I think he's still a bit rough this week, isn't he? He was saying he's coming back on. So
yeah,
maybe
he's got bird flu apparently. That's what happens when you like animals.
Oh, right. He's not eating them, but he's getting close to them, is he? I think you need to make another apology now, Jack. You do one thing and then you back
I can't help it. Well, no, he's I think he saved a bird. I think he was driving along, found a bird, handed it into the wildlife people, and then that bird gave him bird flu. And that's it.
Well, I'm sure he'll be back next week. He's getting a making recovery, but I think he said he was coughing all the time, so to have him back. Yeah, and hello to everyone in the chat, by the way. There's everyone from BMS Web to Dazzle, Striker, and everyone else. So if you want to ask any questions in there, please do so. So it has been windy today, but people have been flying. I know that, but I didn't get out, sadly. I thought about it.
Who's been flying? Because they're nuts if they have. I mean, we've had here. Clinton went flight well. How's Doris been moving around the country? Because up here, I think, in Bedfordshire, we've had as strong as 80-mile-an-hour gusts, and my roof literally was creaking like it was going to lift off the top of my house.
Well,
so I would,
as far as I know, there's no video because he had problems with his run cam, which I think everyone who owns a run cam usually has a problem with it eventually shortly after purchase. But that's another question point altogether. But there's no video to prove it, so I think there may be one. So yeah, but I guess if a quadcopter is going to fly at 80 miles an hour plus and it's 70-mile-an-hour gusts, there's no problem. You just go quite slow one way and extra fast the other way. I mean, it was quite windy the other week when we were flying, and actually to get the speed runs, you go with the wind, don't you? My quad's faster than it really is, but hey.
Yeah, the scariest moment I had with high wind and the quad was actually when I was in Australia, and it was just before I hooked up with the BMS Web guys, and I was in Sydney. And it was gusting to like 40 mile an hour, and it was an offshore wind. But I was desperate to get the footage, so I had to do it. I had to go up and just. I couldn't walk away from it and not have some great footage of the Sydney coastline. So I went up, but that was pretty terrifying, knowing that if the wind did decide it was going to outpower the quad, it was going out to sea, and that's that. So high wind does scare me a bit, I must admit. I think like comfortably the highest I'll fly in is probably 20 to 25. Anything after that, and I think the elements start to get the better of me.
Well, anything more than that, I think when you stood up FPVing anyway, the wind buffeting you and having that displacement as you're flying is tricky. I find,
Yeah.
you know, unless you're sat down. So,
I've the telephone post opposite me, at the very top of it, has got like this giant, like what I can only describe as a giant carrier bag. It's not. It's obviously clearly something to cover, you know, like a load of bricks or something. But it's wrapped around the top of the wind post, the lamp post opposite me. So now technically I've got my own windsock, whether I know like.
Nice.
So determining wind a lot easier for my flying habits now. You know, having that wafting around. I might take a photo of it and upload it to the Let's Drone Out. It looks a terrible monstrosity. You know, you just need a pair of shoes and a drug dealer standing underneath it. You know, it's it's really gone downhill thanks to Doris.
Well, Doris. Yeah, I mean, but there may be some investment. Actually, the news this week: plastic bags, just burn them off. I mean, China's unveiled their flame-throwing trash copter or whatever. It's an octocopter, I think. That basically has a fuel that it throws out at anything attached to power lines to burn it off. So I only saw it with a plastic bag, namely enough. So
see, there was me thinking Top Gear was the best job in the world, but apparently there's someone out there that gets to fly a quadcopter with a flamethrower on it and point it at power lines and other dangerous things. That's a pretty cool job.
That does something to my nipples and trouser region. I'm sorry that's inappropriate, but I'm just saying. NJ, I like it. NJ, are you considering having a full-time place on LDO as much as you can? I know you're a busy guy.
You know what? I was literally in the middle of building. I am just so inundated with stuff to review and build and staying on top of everything at the minute. I was literally cracking on with a build of a Micro 2S brushless, and then I got a frantic call from Jay. We're on in an hour. Stop. You know, we've got topics. You know, what we're doing, what we're talking about.
No.
No,
it is. He's best placed for it, really.
As much as you like me.
As long as I'm around and I can get to the computer, absolutely. I'll definitely be around whenever I can.
Well, last time I was over there, I think I stood on 3 quads just making a way through the actual front door.
Yeah.
You've got that many just everywhere.
It's fairly ridiculous. But I did let my postman in on what was going on when all these packages from China, Israel, just stuff constantly coming in. I just say
you're on a watch list already, aren't you?
yeah, exactly.
Drug dealer.
Yeah, never a good thing. He's here every day. But yeah, why not?
Guys, I've met someone.
Okay.
Sounds like when I met Tony.
Yeah.
No, I want to abuse my powers. There's 26 people listening live right now, and I want to abuse my powers. Now, there's a kid who's just started up FPV. His name's Chris Weller, and I think he works as you know, like making content and stuff for YouTube and advertising and whatnot. And he started making his own videos, but he's just started up FPV. And I look at him and I think, this kid's got potential. You know, when you just look at someone, you just like the look of them. Do you know what I mean? It's like me and Jay on the first Let's Drone Out thing. You know, Jay was chatting and things that he came on. You just kind of get this person. You think this person will be really good, and I'm thinking about getting him on to Let's Drone Out. But I thought, let's play with him first and freak him out. So, if 26 people, if you guys can, I'm going to post his link in the chat to his channel. So if everyone keeps that. Opens it, keeps the link, check out the channel after the show, or
something else. But I'm guessing you're saying open it in a new window or something, or something else. No, what do you reckon, NJ? We lost Jack. I don't know where he's gone.
I don't know. I'm waiting for him to come back and finish the plan.
Well, the suspense. He likes
I'm still here.
Oh, he's there. Yeah.
No,
we're just saying.
Everyone go on his channel and leave some comments. Let's get on Let's Drone Out. You should be on Let's Drone Out, or if you're not too sure of him, just be like, nah, you know.
Is he aware of the initiation ceremony?
No, he's not. It's going to totally mess him up. So the link's in the chat.
Okay.
So, HBI guy, I hope you're all right. So,
what
I want the listeners to like feedback to me next week on this episode and be like yay or nay. I don't know, because like he's gonna love NJ because of all his tech reviews, and he's gonna learn so much from you. And I just think he's like new and excited and really enthusiastic, and you know, he's got I just like his editing style and stuff like that, you know. And I just think, you know, I think he could be quite big, you know.
All right, let's get him on the show and find out how he's found it.
Yeah, just talk to him, man.
Okay.
You know, we haven't got Tony at the moment, so we need some sort of like, you know, pet like animal.
You always like to take along the strays, don't you, Jack?
Yeah, yeah. I found a stray, everyone. See what you think. If he smells
I'm not
funny,
saying Chris is a stray, but yeah, no, I'm open to that fact. If we got like, I don't know, I'm always for people learning and learning from the better way of doing things.
Jay, he's gonna love you, and he's gonna think, yeah. Tom Smith won't come on. He will not. I've chatted to him. He's shy, believe it or not.
But you see, it's a bigger name he gets because I think it's recently announced he's signed with Cobra News. It's tonight.
Yeah, I'd love Tom to come on. I did message him and say, "Come on, just come on the show. We'll just have a little chat, you and I. A few people checking it out, you know."
Yeah,
no
we won't be hard on you if he's listening. We won't be hard on you. We'll just have a jolly old chat. Yeah. Otherwise, we're going to have to improvise and impersonate your accent as best we can, which is going to be poor. So,
yeah, I need to get Richard, that HBR guy, get Richard to bully him as well. I mean, you know, coax him gently. When I say bully, I mean, you know, tentatively.
Friendly bullying.
Yeah.
We need a translator. Shane is mental.
Anyway, NJ's bullying is something completely different.
Come on the show. We must talk.
Yeah. I mean, what's the guy's name? Oh man, Johnny. HBI guy has got a mate called Johnny who flies FPV. Really good photographer. I quite like to have him on, but I know how busy he is, and I keep finding his business card, and I've put it somewhere, and I can't find him. HPI and Johnny would be wicked, because I met him at the UK drone show, and you know, we were just like, he's quite businessy and professional, and just, you know, another interesting guy. Do you know what I mean? Successful at what he does, and you know, he's just like, yeah, he's just like instantly. It's like one of those guys where you go, here, meet my mates, and then they just get along with everyone. No trouble at all. Hang on.
Well, everyone are calling for, in the chat is calling for Tom Smith. So really, Tom Smith would be a fool not to come on. I mean, why not? He gets to speak to NJ live on air.
I'd love to have a chat with Tom on this. So yeah, if he's listening or if he gets to watch this, come on, Tom, come and have a chat with us. Let's talk wacky quad antics.
Speaking of wacky quad antics, NJ, I mean, the winds started last night, didn't they? Let's face it. And you were out flying at 1:30 in the middle of a car park.
Yeah, so that 1:30 was something that I've meant to had done and reviewed. It's just one of the things I meant to get around to doing, and I kept putting it off because I've just not been that excited by the smaller quadcopters. Certainly in terms of the fact that I like to acro as opposed to race, and I just find they're a little bit gutless for acro, especially because you need a lot of grunt in the bottom end. So I didn't really care too much to do this one. Actually, I've got it right here. I'm sitting there staring at it off screen. It was this little guy, which is the Reptile.
Very nice.
And it was really good fun to build. Like if you're looking for a challenging building into something this small is actually it's a whole other thing, because you've sometimes got to get a little bit creative with solutions where you've got no clearance for certain things. Everything's so close together, and you've got to work different ways around, you know, where to fit receivers, and you know they're a bit of a nightmare, but it kind of in a good way. But that particular model, which I chose to run on 4S, because why wouldn't you run it on 4S? Is an absolute screamer, and I had a total blast with that last night. And that was, you know, what it was gusting up to, like I'd say it was gusting to like 20 at times.
Yeah, it was strong winds, very strong.
there's a big part of the equation is obviously the fact that it's running the latest base flight, which is very, very good, and it's easy to forget how much work's being done by that great piece of software. But in terms of my enjoyment from only ever flying 200s and bigger to then flying a 130, I was genuinely stunned at how well they can perform, how solid they can be, and how many of the kind of bigger acro maneuvers that you do can translate to smaller quadcopters. I mean, I had a lot of messing around with the QX90 and the QX95, and there's a lot of you have to pilot through certain maneuvers because they don't have very much inertia, and that affects the way certain maneuvers are done. But that 130, the size and the weight it is, and the power to weight ratio, it still has those characteristics of a bigger quad in terms of how you come out of flips and rolls, and it still has a weight to it, but it just feels like something so much bigger. So that has, if someone had said to me 130, just go and get one of these, I would be like, no way. If I hadn't actually flown one of these, I would have said, don't bother. It's it's just not going to have the guts, and it's not going to be fun. But I had an absolute blast with that little GB130, and it's totally opened my eyes to the 130 side of things. So.
Because since the QX90, which were hugely popular, and that sort of form factor, they have actually slowly got to the brushless side and slowly increased the power and things. Maybe it's just an evolution of the technology on that size. But I mean, the weight size of that 130 is probably mostly, well, half of it is the battery itself. So running your 4-cell battery, which is an 850, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a Tattu 854S.
And what's the whole thing weigh in total?
I think it's just under 300 grams, which still, as an all-up weight, still kind of sounds a lot for a 130.
It does.
Something that little, but I mean the power. The bit that I thought was the most interesting was these little Emax motors. A lot of problems that people have been having with these ones on 4S. These are the 4,000 kV variants. Is that it's really easy to get in a situation where you can overprop these. They actually come with a full-size top nut, and it's heavy, and that contributes to overpropping on 4S.
But the Bassett's got
and everyone wants to run the 3045 Dal bullnose props. Now they're heavy pitched for a motor that's going to be doing 4,000 kV. They're about 3.5 grams a prop, which doesn't sound a lot, but these Exol, these are 30-30, so less pitch, and they weigh 1 gram. And then I've also switched to these ultra light aluminium top nuts, so there's a real big weight saving, and dynamically and statically, and that makes such a difference. And now these motors are not getting hot, which is what they were renowned for on 4S, the 4,000 kV red bottoms, and this is really happy, and it's an absolute powerhouse. It's so much fun to fly. And the other thing that's important is a proper 1177 on a 130 is a must.
Especially for daytime flying, more so, I think.
Day and night, but I think.
Yeah, but CMOS are quite good at night, but during the day, that's where your CMOS lacks out, I think. But the one thing I just was, you're holding that up.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, like, for the momentum thing, which has largely been a problem, but that one is more of a rounded shape, a spherical shape. So I guess it wouldn't have as much resistance as you're trying to move through the air, because the whole stack on the top is all rounded off, and it's quite an interesting design to see it, how short the arms are, but how much it's built up and up with a battery slung underneath. It doesn't look like it should fly like it did.
Yeah, I mean, there's absolutely nothing aerodynamic about quadcopters. They just quite simply brute force their way through the air. Those are the that's the physics of it. There's nothing. They're not graceful.
When you've cut the throttle and you're
beautiful.
tumbling. But yeah, I suppose.
Yeah, well,
it was great to see.
Manhole covers.
Yeah, it's like exactly like dropping a brick out the sky. They're not aerodynamic at all. Even, I mean, there are models that make efforts towards it. I mean, there's some beautiful models out there now with beautiful fairings, like the one that I got sent recently, the Beast X. That's a stunning looking quadcopter, really nice aerodynamic canopy on it, and you can get thinner arms or really thin arms like the Revo, the Fossil Stuff Revo. And then what do? You get that beautiful, nice new aerodynamic shape that everyone's been working on, and then you stick a big square GoPro on the top and a big square brick of a battery underneath, and then you've just destroyed it all again. So it's one of those things. You are sort of brute forcing your way around the sky, but it's an interesting thing. I did actually receive this in the post to review. That's the Fossil Stuff's Revo. I was a little disappointed that it came pre-built. I was really looking forward to building this. And Tony and Dan Pittman, sent this out to me. And yeah, it's really interesting. I'm looking forward to. I mean, this is racing through and through. This thing, just by virtue of its design, I wouldn't consider this really a freestyle quadcopter. Certainly because we've got these lines will be fantastic for getting caught in trees.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Drying your socks.
That's
a really quick way to dry your socks.
It's a fantastic cheese cutter though.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be great. Yeah,
If you want to build one, just give me that one and ask them to send you one that's not built. Then simple.
Yeah.
Take it apart. EV blog, like, you know.
Yeah. But I'm all for anyone that's pushing design ideas and trying new stuff. It's very easy to just sit with the same designs and just rechurn the same things with little incremental changes. It's good to see thinking outside the box, and this kind of thing's great. So the wackier the better, I say, and then we get to be the ones that go out and test it, which is a very cool thing.
You can use it to chop boiled eggs up too, apparently.
Chop boiled eggs, is that right?
Yeah.
At speed, flying through. Yeah, that's what you got to try and do.
Oh my word.
So what have you been flying these days, Jack? We haven't heard what you've been flying, what you've been up to.
I have not been flying because a lot of guys went to the Hidden Valley last weekend. Saturday was a beautiful day. I didn't go fly. I slept through most of that, and then Sunday everyone went to Hidden Valley, and I did not go. Because I'm just having a bit of a sort out, really. The Poocopter is up on eBay at the moment. The Electra Hub, flight test Electra Hub, that I was using for my test bench. I've decided to list that up completely for sale because at the moment the design for my iNav quads, Dan's got the plans approved, so the frame's been cut out with Armaton. I glued my wing together, and I'm waiting for Dan to just cut my GoPro mount out. So I'm just kind of getting ready to go fly. So I haven't been out at all. So I've been doing a lot of test bench stuff and getting rid of old things and starting up new things. Because I did the whole chat with Constantine with iNav, and I'm really looking forward to that iNav quad. I don't really want to fly anything else till I get that up in the air.
You want to know the interesting thing? A long time ago, I cast your way back, all the way back to the start of Let's Drone Out.
Yeah.
And it's a joke about flying Waypoint.
Yeah.
And now you've gone full circle, and you're now flying Waypoint.
I haven't started in Waypoint, and to be honest, I've got
GPS.
I've got no idea how he does Waypoint at all. iForce 2D has just uploaded a video. Hang on, let's have a look. I want to get the correct maths. Hang on, his video was he's designed a hex with no legs. He's got a little cradle coming down, and he's flown 2.3K autonomous flight with a 360-degree camera gimbal. So I'll post the link in the chat if anyone cares.
We need a link to your YouTube, your eBay. I mean, people have the chance to buy some Let's Drone Out memorabilia.
Yeah,
that's what you're gonna sell it as. Oh yeah.
So just wanted to suggest you iForce 2D. I love him. Chris, his name is, and I'd love to have him on the show, but he's too shy. I think He was like, nah, you know, and I'm like, dude, you can talk, you know, but he's just like, nah, it's not my sort of thing. But he's done some really, really interesting stuff. It's I started playing with the Storm 32 gimbal. I was doing that last weekend rather than going out and fly. And there's two different versions of the Storm 32 gimbal. There's one version which is the I2C version, and apparently you get loads of errors with the you know, the cable, because it's quite susceptible to interference.
Some noise and things. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they've redesigned it with this NT version, and I didn't know, so I've spent £18 on a I2C version, and then instead of buying the £24 NT version, and with the NT version you can use a Nano CC3D flight controller as your IMU, external IMU, on the bottom of your camera, and apparently it's really, really good. So I'm feeling a bit of a dummy.
So wow, to hear you talking about IMUs on a camera stuff.
I know. I it's like,
wow.
I know. Because
Forget the ESC list now. You're going to start talking like IMU stuff.
I know. It's, well, the not last weekend, the weekend before, I went out and flew with Dan, and Tony came up, and I need to like rendezvous with Tony because he showed up. Andy RC, I don't know about him. Put the link up.
Andy RC, yeah, he's got a great channel. Yeah, the guy's actually he's a bit of a machine. If I'm honest with you, the speed at which he I think he manages to say yes to everything. I'm really picky and choosy about what I say yes to review. And this is not a diss at all. What Andy's great at is he will say, "Yep, send me everything. I will review it, and I'm going to be honest about it," which is the way you should be, you know, to be objective and impartial. But he just, I mean, there's stuff that I get sent that I'm offered, and I look at and I go, no one on my channel is going to want to see this. This is a Bumblebee 2S silly quad with, you know, like, it just looks stupid. Like, this is nothing serious for me to review, and I just won't do it. But Andy will just say, it seems like he will just say, yeah, just send everything and I'll just channel. And he's like a machine. There's just stuff that keeps coming out. But his reviews are brilliant. They're so thorough. And he goes through absolutely everything, you know, right through to the tuning setup, problems he's found with it. So he'd be a great one to get on here, definitely. I totally agree.
Behind the YouTube channel, there's a team and not just one person. So maybe it's, you know, how could you, because you're one man band, you tune and fly and build and everything. But
yeah, I think Andy's one guy. I get the impression.
We'll find out. Let's get him on the show and find out.
Yeah, I think so. But yeah, he's a.
I've never seen. I had no idea this guy existed.
Yeah, no, he's I mean,
I've had my head.
I've followed him for a while. Yeah.
Up where Tony believes my head lives.
Right.
Anyway, you brought up an interesting topic which I wanted to bring up, NJ, and that is Bruce Simpson.
Right. Okay. What about Bruce?
Right, two things, right? You know how you said, like, give an honest review?
Yes.
Well, like, that man single-handedly killed his relationship with Ionway antennas because they fixed it. He didn't add a revision to say, hey, by the way, the patch antennas they use on the what's the weird thing? You know, like the antenna array from Hobby King. What are they called?
The multi-pathing, the multi.
It's the big blue thing with the patches all the way around and one on the top.
Did anyone ever buy one of those?
I didn't. I saw Joshua got one and played around with it. Joshua Bardwell.
Wasn't he quite positive about it, if I remember correctly?
In theory, it should work great.
In theory,
I think.
I don't know.
Painless 360 had one. He said it was amazing.
Yeah, as it should be. I guess it was proper diversity as well. It wasn't some cheaty antenna switching thing. It was, you know, individual units and, yeah, from what I can tell, it was pretty awesome. But it's just nothing I want to carry around. That's quite a rig to you know. It's like a.
Imagine that with some quantum goggles.
You put it on your car, at the top of your car, like some kind of Doppler radar. It's absolutely.
Yeah, it is essentially. Yeah, you could, like I. So anyway, we're going off topic anyway.
Yeah.
So the
Sorry,
Overlord,
Bruce.
is that it? Is that what it's called?
The what? Sorry.
Overlord.
No,
That's the one. That's
Is
it. No, I think it is called that actually. Yeah, it has got
Yeah.
the Hobby King Overlord.
Yeah, honestly, it's a serious bit of kit. Like, if anyone was to whack that out, I'd be like, "Whoa, calm down now." You know, you're rolling with Let's-Drone out here. You know, we're lucky we can maintain Wi-Fi connection.
Yeah, and usually we can't.
Yeah. So anyway, Bruce Simpson, you know, and he's been talking about his Horus lately, and if you listen,
Didn't he? Yeah.
yeah, his relationship with the whole FrSky is clearly broken down. You know, they respond to him regards correcting a piece of misinformation from him, but in regards hey, what do I do with the Horus? They don't respond to him whatsoever.
Wow.
So I definitely think that a few people have stopped sending in things because they just don't want to, you know, they don't want him to kill their product.
Well,
But then that's not a nice review, is it? Yeah.
the thing is, I mean, he was at one point he was in real trouble with the whole FPV New Zealand thing, and it amazed me how he didn't buckle and really stuck to his guns. And I've got a lot of admiration for the guy. And the one of the things, you know, I don't want to pull up a million cliches here, but you know, he's got a lot of power now, because what does he have, 130,000 subscribers? You know, he's a real heavyweight, and rightly so. His reviews, his information, he's got, you know, a really solid electronics and science background. He's got videos on absolutely everything. You know, he's a really important.
Put the work in.
Yeah, he has put the work in. He's a really important guy, and he's, you know, worked through a lot of tough times and stuck to his guns and his principles and his morals. So, you know, I've got a lot of admiration for him. But I know the Horus thing, he was quite upfront in saying, I think when he got his early review unit, about saying, I'm under, you know, a non-disclosure agreement, I can't talk about certain things. And he obviously signed that to get the unit and play with it and get an early hands-on with it, but he couldn't talk about it. And, you know, he's always pretty honest about this stuff, but he might be, you know, he could quite easily just be flippant about one thing or another, and end up that could end up having a really detrimental effect.
Yeah,
because he's got so many people that kind of hang off his every word. So there is that kind of responsibility when all of a sudden you're saying stuff to 130,000 subscribers or more. So there is a bit of that, I guess. But he just does so much good.
It's the PewDiePie effect. Do you know what I mean? It's
Pewdie Bruce. Yeah,
that's it. He is.
Well,
and I can't remember, but he was gonna tell us or talk about something in his latest XJet vlog, which I'm really waiting to.
Well, that's yet to come out, isn't it?
Yeah,
I think
and I'm
in a few days
rocking back and forth.
I think he's got the following because he always used to do videos of how to get something that flies like one of the more expensive things much cheaper. And perhaps that's his view on the Horus. If something's so premium, maybe he's going to be more critical of it, especially if there's support even. And that's why I've always loved Bruce, because he could show you how you get something that punched out really fast back in the day for practically nothing in comparative terms.
FrSky just totally missed the mark on Horus, but it was essential for check out these Hall effect sensors. Those guys, if they just made Hall effect sensors for the Tyrannus, they would have made a load of money. Now you can't get hold of them for love nor money.
Yeah, they're manufacturing them like mad, and they are bringing out. I've heard on the grapevine the M7 Hall sensors will be out as well for the QX7, the new one that's out, and I'm down to get a set of those as soon as they are available. But as you say, you know, I have to agree there was some some problems with the Horus. There was some things that were missed that, you know, they wanted to make the Ultimate Radio. It didn't quite come to fruition, but, you know, what they've done with the QX7 more recently, you know, and I did a big 2-part in-depth review on that and really got my hands dirty with it. And I think they've absolutely nailed it for the price they've put it out, and they do listen, like they do listen to what people are after.
Except when it comes to use silicone wire, they've got some sort of weird adverse, you know, I'm sure like the head guy has got some sort of silicone allergy.
I didn't know about
refuses.
that. Is that right? They don't want silicone wire inside the transmitters.
Yeah, or the little or the little you know, telemetry cables on your receivers.
Now, was it me, or did they started changing that now? I'm sure the XSRs now come with silicone wires. I'm pretty sure they do.
Oh, forgive me.
I think they have changed. I think they have changed there. In fact, yeah, because I here's another flight controller that I got sent recently that I've got.
They're not run cam.
It's one of those. You seen these? So this is the so this has got an XSR built into it. This is an FR Sky XSR F3E. And this did come with a silicone loom. So yeah, they have started including silicone looms in with their stuff. But again, this is another product. I'll be doing a review on this, but another product with loads of great FR Sky thinking, you know, how can we make this more compact and more great ideas into one flight controller, doing what they do, but then just missing the mark on one thing here and there. In this one, the biggest issue that they had was that they put the 9250 gyro in here, which is basically the 6500 gyro with a barometer, which is the worst, most sensitive, noisy, pain in the arse gyro to work with. And you have to go to all kinds of soft mounting, and it's just a pain. So if they put a 6000 gyro in that would have been a brilliant board. But you know, there again, a product that could have been way more popular, I guess. But you know.
Yeah. All right. Shall we pull the pin out, the grenade, Jay? You're gonna have to be the mediator.
Okay. Well, that's not a problem.
Soft mounting.
Oh.
Right. So,
yes.
So like, let's be honest, right? We had Racefly on last week.
Yeah,
Yes, we did.
I was muzzled for good reason. I cannot be trusted. I've upset my one true love, my best little friend, the Eddie to my Richie Rich.
Go on.
You know, and Bradders was nice enough to have him on, and there's been a few like people for Betaflight development team on, and you know I've had a few people in the comments being like, this guy, you know, is paranoid that everyone's stealing from him. He's made open source code into closed source. You know, and it's like, you know, all right, they're providing they're providing some sort of like support, you know, service. But anyway, has anyone noticed the whole Your Twitch malarkey coming up in, you know, Betaflight now? Where you're flying and it makes that sort of like skipping noise, like your props are loose, and it's only on the Your access.
Look, the thing is about your twitchiness, your oscillation. I think generally speaking, your tuning is often the bit that generally people tend to overlook anyway, because it's usually the one that is more often than not just fine on the whole, and isn't quite as obvious when you start making meaningful changes to, say, the P term on the roll or the pitch. You see results straight away. You see whether it's oscillating. With your, it's much harder thing to tune. You've got a bigger envelope there to work with, and really, I've always advocated this, that in terms of your tuning, the best thing you can do is use your ear, because it's something that you'll hear more than you're likely to see in your FPV feed. You might see it in your HD cam if you're filming at like 60 frames per second or higher. But the best thing you can do is listen to what your quad's doing. But my point being that your twitching and your mid-throttle oscillation, that has existed across. I've had all these flight controllers, okay, going a long way back. It's not something that's new, and it's plagued KISS. It's been an issue in beta flight. It's been an issue in race flight. Those things have been, at some point or another, they've been there and they've been a pain in the ass. And it is something that you have to work towards learning to do. You have to learn to listen for it. You have to learn how to deal with it. Now, that was obviously why we're getting back to this whole issue of soft mounting. And I touched on this once before, I think, but the soft mounting thing is really just a point of dealing with resonance in the quadcopter. And it's this whole thing of having many ways to skin a rabbit. And soft mounting your motors, or soft mounting your flight controller, or a combination of the two, or one or none, they're all going to have different effects on the resonance of and whether harmonic resonance is going to build up in the quad. All of these things come down to kind of the mechanical tune of the quad. That is the bit that I always focus on when I build a quadcopter first, is to get it mechanically as sound as possible. To actually, before you even put your props on, I rev up each motor, each arm, and I feel, is one of these vibrating a lot? Is one of the, you know, they all feel nice and silky. Even after like 10, 15 flights, check to see if one bearing's going bad in your motor. All of these things will have resonance and resonance points, and those will build up and can cause issues and can cause things like this to develop. So I'm not going to say soft mounting is a bad thing for idiots. It's absolutely not. I'm not going to say soft mounting is the best be all and end all answer for everyone. It won't be, but for some people it might be a magic fix. The point is to experiment with all of these things and try and get your quad as mechanically sound as possible first, with as least vibration, and to be as smooth as possible. If you do that, and if you get it, you know, and this is why black box logs are so important as well. If you can really consider that with a flight controller, being able to look and analyze a black box log and the gyro data to see how your quadcopter is behaving mechanically, just has such an enormous impact on your tune. And that is what will help you achieve a really smooth and beautiful tune. But yeah, that's the crux of it. None of this is right or wrong, but you should try all of these things out. But as I said, the aim is get your quad mechanically smooth, get it as nice as possible first mechanically, and then when it comes to the tuning and the software side of it, you'll have a far easier time. You won't have nearly as much oscillation problems, and you'll see more meaningful things out of what you're changing in the tuning. If the flight controller doesn't have to just deal endlessly with vibration and resonance in the quadcopter.
You know, when I first started flying quads, we called it something else. We called it Jello, and it appeared in videos. And you tried to stop that Jello from appearing in videos, and tried all forms of soft mounting everything.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when I was first flying helicopters, trying to put cameras on it. The whole Jello thing was just a colossal nightmare.
And you'd have a flight, and it's like, Jello, that was a good flight. Jello, yeah. So
that was one of the longest NJ rants ever.
One thing to another.
Yeah, no. What have you been soft mounting, NJ?
And another thing.
NJ is a firm believer, kids, of soft mounting your ESCs. I'd just like to point everyone out.
It absolutely helps. Yeah.
No, carry on. What's your other thing?
Everything, though, huh? Everything. Soft mount your soft mountings.
But yeah, as I said, like, harmonic resonance, that's the worst one. If you've ever had a quadcopter and you've put a certain set of props on, and suddenly it starts vibrating, and it gets worse and worse and worse, and just makes this horrible noise, and then you switch props and it's gone. That's the harmonic resonance thing. That's really horrible. But that can happen. You're just changing your battery. The mass changes on your quad. If you've got that hard mounted to your quad, you go from a 1000 milliamp to a 1500 milliamp battery, and you change the way it's going to resonate. That can have an impact. You know, it's very dynamic. and you have to be. You just have to. If you think about that and you take that and have that as your mindset when you're moving forward before you hit your tuning, I think you'll have far less headaches. That's been my experience anyway.
There's one quadcopter coming to the market, probably hopefully soon, that I'm hoping doesn't have the same problems that we've been mentioning.
Is that the rubber
and that's
dildo?
The one that the one that you ride on. If you've been following on Mashable, there's one that looks like a bike that you ride on. NJ, I think they might start selling it at GearBest soon, so you might get one for review.
that thing is terrible.
That's one thing you need to ask for. Forget anything else. I'll put the link in there. There you go, Mashable. But, I don't want any of your oscillations as I'm riding that thing. No way.
Do you reckon Free Sky will buy one for Bruce in hope that he'll kill himself?
Maybe.
That sounds like the sick thing to do. He receives an email from not Free Sky at freesky.com. Hi, we've invented a hover bike. Would you like to review it?
But it kind of is the thing, though, isn't it? There's more and more of these that are coming to market, being designed because they realize flying cars is actually probably here as close as we're going to get. But
oh man,
are they starting from square one, or are they going to start putting kits for flight control in? And let's start with that, and we'll work on it. Your navcopter.
Yeah. Sorry, flying car always makes me think of Clerks too.
Oh yeah. Good movie.
So anyway, right. So here's my things with soft mounting. Right, is since the KK2 days, I always soft mounted my flight controllers with foam tape, and I was a firm believer of soft mounting. And then the Naze 32, I was like, I'm a changed man. I quite like having standoffs. It's all good. So I built this quad last week, SPF 3. Built it, and I had your Twitch on it. Looked at the black box. Your P was all over the shop. Lowered the P, made it fly a bit better. Still did it. Still made us, just fast pitch, weird noise. Lowered the P more. Still none. Lowered the P till it started affecting the sort of hovering flight. P term so low that your stick inputs are no longer sharp.
Yeah. There's a point at which it's not driving the input anymore, and you've got no you've essentially got no stick feel whatsoever. It's like stirring porridge.
Yep. So anyway, played around with the eye, no difference. Cut long story short, I desoldered that board, put a new board in, made it better. And that's all I did. On the other hand,
so you went from one Naze 32 to another Naze 32.
Yeah, well, SPF 3.
Sorry, you were at SPF 3. So that's the 6000 gyro, which is
hit or miss.
No, the 6000 is a great gyro. That's pretty much the one that gives the least grief across all the most of the flight controllers. It's the best suited gyro to go for. And Boris has outright said that. He said that this is the best one that gives us the least grief, and is very happy whether hard mounted or soft mounted. It's the 6500 and 9250. They're the ones that were a real pain. And it was that's what was in the Naze the Rev 6. That's what was the problem with that, and also the Lux, but then the Lux V2 that has been released not that long ago, they've now gone to the 6000, which is what people asked for, and they've added an SD card reader, and that's a really great flight controller now. But there's so many variables. There's so many variables, but just be methodical about it. And as I said, the black box is so useful because you can at least look at it and get some idea of what's happening mechanically and do something about it.
Yeah.
So
Jack Richard Smith said, Jack, you've changed. You've lost something. You've changed. I know I have.
Jack is the robot. We killed the original and replaced him. Sorry, we were just working on the tune of him. Yeah.
I know. So
Placid Jack.
yeah, I know. That's it. I've lost my train of thought. I'm done.
And there you have it, Jack.
Yeah,
Right.
that's it. Jack's rebooting.
Funny noises for a reboot.
Yeah, that's it. Rich just threw me off. Rich just done me. Little, I know. I'm done. That's
Actually,
it.
what pits do we need for you to dance then? Actually, Jack.
I don't even know anymore. Oh God, what else? Yeah. So a friend of mine gave us a call, and he was having problems. He had a Naze Rev 5, and I spoke to Joshua Bardwell. By the way, you heard it here first. Josh, hopefully, is on next week.
Oh, great.
Work depending. So anyone who's listened today, Joshua Bardwell is on next week, hopefully, unless he has to go to work. Yeah. So he gave me a shout, and I was chatting to Josh, and I was just saying like, yeah, I've got the your Twitch problem, and he was like, soft mounting or filter it out, filter the aliasing and harmonics out, find out what noise it's doing. You unlock a certain feature like the unfiltered, the unnotch filtered black box recordings by going into the CLI tab, typing something in, and you get the unfiltered readings, and then you find out the harmonic value of that and then filter that.
Yeah, I'm really excited for where the notch filtering thing is going and developing. I think that's a really cool thing that they're working on.
I miss Betaflight.
Betaflight's great. The latest 315. I mean, the only thing that's different, and I think this is a good thing, is that when the goalposts move, like I found on 315, I can tune the P's and especially the D's actually quite a bit higher than I have.
He loves the D.
On the older versions of the firmware. Jack, behave. And this is the thing. People will flash to their new version of the firmware, and they just won't be in the habit of retuning. You know, this is the best excuse for you to work on tuning and learning how to tune. Just every time you put a new version of the firmware on, they've changed stuff. It's going to tune up in a different way. Just start from scratch. Load the defaults. Start from scratch, and it'll do wonders for your ability to tune as well. Hello, Adam.
Afternoon.
That's
4 minutes to go.
4 minutes.
Have you been contending with the wind?
We were waiting to announce the DJI Phantom, or no, DJI Matrice finds skiers, but you didn't join the call early enough, so we're not.
It's too windy for too windy for the Mavic. Anyway.
Shut up, NJ was talking.
Sorry, carry on, NJ.
It's all good. It's all good. No, we're
I
good.
just wanted to say hello.
Yes, you've been
Apparently
contending with Forrest, have you?
Well, yeah, it's a bad time of year for publishing people. We leave the office late, and then we find that most of the trains can't be bothered to come. I don't understand how the tube stops working when it's windy.
Well, it's underground, and the pressure differential of I have no idea. I don't know.
Yeah.
Power lines. That's
Some
why.
excuse. Yeah, heavy electricity. I think is
heavy electricity
It gets
is a big
knocked off
problem.
the lines, and it falls down and
Crushes people.
kills small children. Yeah, it's terrible.
Have you been on the cake again?
I've always been on the cake. That's got nothing to do with it.
Cake is a made-up drug, all right?
No comment.
But actual cakes, they're not made up at all.
I want cake.
Cake souls.
We're droning out now. This is true. Let's drone out. We usually have an off-topic tonight. Seems to be cake.
God damn!
Favorite type of
I'm
cake.
talking about cake. I just want cake now.
Yeah, chocolate fudge cake.
That's the kind of cake. Yes, but let's list the kind of cake.
Yeah.
Waitrose does the best chocolate brownie cake. I highly recommend it to anyone.
Let's deliver cake next time we're down. Instead of biscuits, let's do cake. by delivery.
Oh, sorry. Just quickly, one thing. I did see Dom say that New Year for Hidden Valley, brand new price list. So any of you guys that go to Brighton to Hidden Valley, and if you haven't been before, go. It's absolutely awesome and epic. Dom has a new price list for that.
And don't forget Popham Airfield, Chris G. You're the G. You're a gangster.
Anything to add, Adam?
That killed it.
What? No,
Anything to add?
'cause I've
Drone
been
related,
kind of
not
out of
cake
touch,
related.
to be honest.
I don't think we can top Cake. Do you get what I did there?
I'm going to
yeah.
start
With
building
buttercream
your
icing.
mini quad, Adam.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah, let's have a personal conversation.
The
Awesome.
cake is high.
one of
reference.
us.
I love it. Portal reference there in the comments.
Oh, I haven't seen the comments.
It's mainly Tony being angry at me because
So, yeah, where is Tony? What have we done?
he's ill. He's got bird flu.
He's very ill.
Is he? Has he been to China and wherever it was that bird flu came?
Well, you missed actually Jack's heartfelt apology, only to insult Tony again and be making another weekly apology every week at the start of each show.
Well, presumably he'll have to offend him later on in the
Well,
show.
basically, he was saying that he was getting too close to some birds of the wrong variety to contract bird flu.
Ah, I see. Right.
Yeah.
Look, that's hardly an insult.
No, we're hoping he's going to be back next week anyway. So, yeah.
Ah, good. Well, I miss you, Tony. All right, just me, clearly.
I think it's that time we started.
I miss Tony. I need the racing news. This is the bit that Tony needs to come and tell us what's happening in the racing world.
Well, it's not really.
I've said my quota of nice things about Tony this episode.
It shouldn't feel like an obligation, Jack. It should feel like something you really mean.
I know I need to physically show him my appreciation.
Ah, well, I'm sure he'll look forward to that, but that's something you should do off camera.
Yeah. That's why my camera's off. I've literally I'm surrounded. I've built a Tony shrine and I'm completely naked.
Okay. Well, I'm really, really glad that I got back in time.
Yeah, you got back for all the important stuff, Adam.
the best bits.
everyone's just screaming cake.
Yeah, that's what happens. All right.
All right, well, I better get back to building small, impossibly small quadcopters.
Yeah. What else is what else are you reviewing? Anything new and exciting coming up?
So yeah, I'm going to do that Fossil Revo is definitely happening. A little 2S micro brushless screamy thing, which should be good, running on a nice F3 controller and DShot 600. Hopefully it'll be a awesome little indoor stroke outdoor screamer. And then I'm just going to be doing a bunch more tutorial things on that guy. And I did a video recently. It's nothing new, but it's good for people to refresh their memory. You can actually flash and update your receivers using the module pins on the back of the Taranis. And I found out today that you can even do it with non-S-port receivers like the XM and XM Plus, the little Diddy one. It will still work via the SmartPort pin and flash straight to the S-Bus pin on the little XM receivers. So, yeah. See, FreeSky really are,
I'm going to
accommodating.
I'm going to shoot them down. Don't get me wrong, I love FreeSky.
All those opens,
I really like them. But two bullshit things, right? Did you know that the listen before talk firmware on the Tyrannuses, some of them, Google it, they have locked the firmware of the XJT module that's inside. So some of them you cannot flash. They're just stuck on, listen before talk.
Really?
Fact. Yep. Came across it, tried to flash a transmitter for someone to non-EU, and it wouldn't let me do it. Just timed out. Tried it with the USB thing.
They didn't do that with this. This one arrived from China, and it was on FCC. So I had to flash it to EULBT, and everything worked fine.
No, it's the other way around. If it's LBT,
yeah,
then you can't flash it to.
So
Not-
are you saying that's now locked to LBT?
no, only the ones LBT straight from. It's only certain ones. It's really weird. Google it. It's if they
Shall.
come
That's most
LBT, you can't flash into anything else. They're locked.
All Q7s are LGBT.
Yeah.
Hey, I thought I was the one who took us off topic.
And then the other thing, Horus,
Yes.
the module bay, the JR module bay. I was chatting to one of the developers who even paid to have his name engraved in the back of it. The module bay wasn't the correct size, so you couldn't actually use a module in it. You had the pins, but nothing fit.
Though he'd signed it.
Yeah, well, admittedly, he did have a developer one, but yeah, what a monumental screw up. Do you know what I mean? That's like inventing a plug that doesn't fit in the UK sockets. Like for your,
I mean, what to do if you don't live in the UK?
yeah, it's just like that is a bit of a screw up, isn't it? How can you get that wrong when you not only make radios, but you make modules for radios? Who screws that up?
I think a lot of people screw things up in life.
I mean,
Just
don't
forgive him,
me
Jack.
wrong. I screw loads of stuff up, but I'm not. But I found that really strange.
Yeah, no, it's embarrassing. Definitely, you'd think you'd check.
End of Ron.
I'm feeling no magnanimous people at the office today. I sent an email, and this is part of the reason I was late, to 10,000 people that had a mistake in it, and then I had to send another one to the same 10,000 people saying, "Sorry, don't click on that link."
Well,
If you get emails from Ilex, by the way, I'm really sorry.
oh dear.
Did we get Skype ones from you actually, Adam, before? Are you infected? That's a nervous laugh. All the juicy stuff comes out at the end.
It wasn't a virus. No, it was.
It wasn't a virus.
I was trying to give people something for free, and you clicked on it, and it was free when I tested it. It was fine, but when you clicked through from the email I'd sent out, it became $9.99, and that was not good at all. And it was because we were trying to give something free through the Amazon site, so I couldn't change I had to change it, by sending a new email. I couldn't change it by changing the Amazon site because I'm not Amazon.
Oops.
Yeah,
Yep.
I mean, that's quite embarrassing.
By the way, Erwin L.
Well
he
done.
couldn't flash.
Oh,
can
good.
flash.
I'm glad we're moving this
Yeah.
on. He couldn't flash. He can flash wherever he wants, although he might find
Whatever he
himself
wants, just to move on from what Adam was talking about, which was Amazon. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, that's really
maybe,
interesting.
maybe that's it. Maybe different firmware version releases or something may have that problem.
Yeah. UPS said they're going to be using drones for delivery as well.
And still charge the import duty.
But everyone keeps saying they're going to be using drones for delivery, and no one does.
Yeah, but you remember back, ordering pizza on the internet was one of those things like, oh, wow, you can order pizza on the internet. And then it actually happened.
Well,
So,
yeah,
just
and now
think-
it's actually like all right.
Yeah. All I'm saying is you're going to have it will happen, just when. That's the point.
But ordering pizza on the internet was a matter of them putting the right software in, so the order got to the restaurant all right, wasn't it? And they then bothered to get it. Whereas it used existing technology, basically, whereas the drones thing
Existing
involves lawyers.
technology.
Existing technology and lawyers. That's the difference. Or the aviation authorities. In fact,
It's like
probably
to
both.
call Bradders a little dirty stop out. He never called me yesterday. So yeah, that's about it from me. I've got no other topics.
Did anyone see the flying motorcycle?
Yeah.
Covered
Yeah, we
that.
done it.
We did.
Flying blender of doom.
Like we said, the only thing which is a positive, we've covered the removal of trash from power lines as a drones for good. And the other thing is actually some company did actually use infrared to find some skiers in an avalanche.
Oh yeah.
After quite a few hours. Yeah, they
Too late, or were they survived?
They saved them. So another positive. And
Joe,
that's
what's
the-
that fuselage behind you?
It's a SIG something extra. Been in the making for about 5 years.
Oh my word!
No, I actually pulled it out and did some more work on it. But I'd like to. You see, the thing was, I put an IC. I'm electric on all my planes, but I put an IC engine, or built it with an IC engine in mind because I wanted to do some aerobatics and recharge by filling with fuel. But I can't be bothered now, and I've got to now go do an electric conversion again because I haven't flown planes in years. So
Why would
I'd
you?
revive it. Well, I know. So the other thing was, if I built it up, I could sell it because the only plane I really want now is a wing, just for a chuck about.
Yeah,
Otherwise, quads all the way.
I think the wing thing's cool just because you can be up for 25 minutes and just cruise around and that
And the
does
whole
something.
thing where we chase it for the quads, there's something else for someone to follow. As many has.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that idea as well.
So, did I hear correctly though, Jack? You're building Adam's FPV quadcopter
Yeah.
for launching when? Like, for when is this going to happen?
I don't know.
Target date 2027.
No, I think 6th and 7th of May, isn't it?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
something
I
like
want
that.
to humiliate myself publicly.
We're
Buy
making a photo
Tyrannus.
opportunity. I mean, yeah. But if you get
Oh,
on
good.
the
I was
simulator
going to
now,
ask you, Jack, which radio system?
Ask NJ. NJ, is it worth getting a Tyrannus or is it worth getting that thing that you've got?
That thing that I have here. Okay. Honestly, I think when you get the Hall sensor gimbals for this, which will then work out to be £140 roughly, I think this is incredibly compelling. I really, really like this, and I like the way it feels. But there is
It looks like an iPhone.
it's white.
you can get the
They're trying
black
to
one as
capture-
well.
They're trying
but-
to capture the DJI market. Yeah.
It's just a bit angular, though.
It's the way
Well,
it feels as well. I think that's the important thing. You probably want to pick one up and get a feel for it before you make that call. It's tricky. I've got both, and I love both, the X9D and that. But for me right now, I love the fact it's a bit lighter. Just makes the backpack a bit lighter, and there's a lot to like about it. And
All right.
go watch my review, Jack.
I will go and watch the review.
Yeah.
Since it's my hard end. I was thinking that the reason I'm have to have Jack do the hard work is because I was looking at the stuff in my attic the last time I did any soldering, and it was that massive hex. And you need to be a little better at soldering than I frankly am to do the little one.
But we've had a few guests on the show that have done the simulator thing, and then Jack FPV, and there's a few others that popped up have just done the simulator and then gone to fly. So maybe this is your little weekly update, how you're getting on once you get your Tyrannus, so that then we're working up
For
to
sure.
the spectacle
We'll
of
do
the
a bit
6th
of
and
that.
7th.
No. What I know, I mean, what I really need now is to be taught how to do decent quality soldering.
No, you don't.
Don't do
Just
that.
learn.
you want.
You've got to learn by mistake with soldering because it's one of those fine arts. Like a blacksmith has to learn through mistakes. It's the same art. So I'm sorry, it can't be just taught in that sense.
It's like Tony in friendship. I am Tony's biggest
No.
mistake regards friendship. I'm sorry, Tony. I love you.
No, but I think there's something about even just learning to solder.
It's such a big subject.
It is.
soldering.
It looks
it's a
so
total
simple.
art form. Yeah,
it's an
like
art form.
having the right amount of tin, keeping the solder tip clean. I personally hot
Heat,
and fast
how much
is the
heat?
quick way. Well, I don't. I prefer to use quite a hot tip, going fast, get the flux.
But
up.
then
It's there's so many
factory
ways to do it.
terminals, hidden terminals, they're all different. Yeah, it's an art form. But
And
just
good soldering, you
scrap.
should be able to see your face in it. It should be nice and shiny, not messy and lumpy and all rough and it's got to be beautiful.
No
shiny.
theory I know about, but I have to say everything I've built so far and everything it's flown. I've finished off with
Flown.
it seems fine. That's the level of standard that I've got to. Not that's shiny.
okay.
Yeah,
All
well,
right.
it's a practice.
I've cruelly come along and got us running along past the end of the show, but maybe everyone wants to go and have the rest of their evening. Or not.
Yeah, I should
That's
probably
it. Jay, see us out.
Yes. Yeah. Well, thank you everyone for listening. Yeah, that's what makes this show possible. So, and thank you, Jack. Thank you, NJ, and thank you, Adam. You've been listening to yourself, mate.
Go
All
see
the best.
Chris's.
Oh yeah,
channel
that
as
is the
well.
last thing we've got to do. Have you paste the link in again if you've got it? Because
Hang on, I'll get it now. Hang on. Oh Man,
The baptism of fire.
sorry to cut you off, Joe.
It's fine with me. But thank you all. You've been listening to Let's Drone Out. Am I still live? Come on, Jack. Press that red button. No.